Hi, my name is Jeff Vandermortel. I'm the owner of WDH Guide Service. I'm in northern Wisconsin. I'm here to talk today about the SRJ, which stands for Slow Rise Jerk. Slow Rise Jerk Bait. It's from a company called Pandemonium Tackle. This is a side-to-side. It's got a nice tight wobble to it. Dive rise bait. It's got teed hooks on it, so you don't have any contact with the bait. Reduces wear and it gives it a good hookup ratio as well, having that wider than the bait. It's a really nice little bait. Really good early season, has its moments during the summer certainly, and then especially as the waters begin to cool in the fall, it resurges. There's also a 2.0 version of this, which is really good during the summer months and also into the fall as those fish start to key on in a larger profile bait. Little squirrely tail in the back, throws on a nice little bit of action as well. This one's a little chewed up, but quick repair on that. Comes with a peg similar to other stuff with a soft tail. Glue it right back on, easily replaceable. This one just has a 4-inch Kalen scrub on it. So a little bit on working these baits. One of the key things is you want to make sure you've got the right leader. You can run it with or without a ball bearing swivel. Maybe a little better to do without, I guess, if you're really trying to be particular about it, with just the direct connect right to the leader. And also you want to make sure you run it with a steel ring leader. Snaps will throw off any jerk bait a little bit. I mean, it's not a big deal. The fish will still eat them, but if you want truly flawless performance, that's the way to go on most of your jerk baits. This leader in particular, this is the length I like to run. I run this for all my suics and other jerk baits as well for the most part. This shorter leader really keeps a nice tight turn on the bait. It keeps the action nice and tight, whereas a longer leader might dampen that action. This is, I believe, this is a 6-inch Roswell wire, and it's also from the same company, and this you can bend, turn, and it does not kink. So that's also an advantage, especially if you have any fouled baits, and catching fish of course can also kink up a leader in pretty fast fashion. A few tips on working this bait. It's a pull pause retrieve, very simple to work. It's probably one of the easiest baits on the market that I use that has a super high success rate, and a lot of times it'll shake fish loose when other things won't. Some of the times where this bait really shines, you know, aside from just a daily basis, but if you're noticing fish that are following, stuff like jerk baits or rubber, other things, sometimes this one will get them they'll come after this one, they'll eat it. A lot of times it's something they haven't seen before, and that tight wobble and a little bit of a side-to-side walk at the end really triggers a lot of strikes. It runs about 1 to 4 feet down depending on how you're working it. For pulls and pauses, you want a nice firm pull pause retrieve. Something akin to that you'd see for like a lot of jerk baits, but not super erratic. The best way I've found to work this bait is a nice sharp snap like this, but you're not trying to overwork it. You can certainly put a little bit more zip on it, but if you add too much, it'll go a little bit out to the side, and that's not really what you're looking for. You're looking for a nice tight rip or a nice tight pull, a nice firm pull, at which point the bait will go a nice side-to-side motion, and then it comes to what is a slightly above neutral buoyant position. It starts to rise slowly, and it gives a little wobble on the rise as well. Little squirrely tail in the back is working nice as well. Gives a little bit more flash to the bait. You can change those colors out, of course, to suit what you like, but a nice firm pull pause retrieve like this, where you're maintaining tension on the sweep, is crucial. I'm not really manipulating the bait while I'm turning the handle of the reel, but I'm imparting all that action on the rip. Again, key. But when like this, I like to keep touch with the bait so that when I'm turning that line, there's not a large amount of slack in it, and that also helps with bite detection. One of two things on any pull pause retrieve: you should always be watching the line to see if that ticks on the pause, and two, you should always try to keep a little bit of tension on there, not to the point where it's maybe moving the bait forward or manipulating the bait, but that you're maintaining a point of tension with that bait so that when a fish hits, you'll feel that tick, or you'll feel actually a pretty violent hit, of course you'll feel, but it helps for bite detection, and it also keeps the bait from going one way or the other on the next pull, because you want it to run nice and tight wobble, stay straight, nice and tight wobble, and that way you get more depth out of your runtime.